Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaaya. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Saresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadrusham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogibhyardhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikhanatam. Okay, Togi ji.
Thank you, Evji. And yeah, everyone, hi. Welcome to the Adhik-masa. We just finished the Purnima. Yesterday night was a Purnima of this Adhik-masa. And today's topic is we are going to talk about what is Adhik-masa, the mathematical concept of Adhik-masa, what we should do in Adhik-masa, some spiritual and mathematical. I will be talking about mathematical significance of Adhik-mas. Evji will elaborate more on the spiritual significance of Adhik-mas. So let's start with that. Why Adhik-mas comes? So let's have some mathematical brainstorming to that. Yesterday was a great night. It was a nice full moon. The full moon happened at around 15 degrees of Scorpio, which is very close to the Jyeshtha star, and exactly 15 degrees of Taurus, which exactly opposite is Rohini. Sun was in Rohini near the Aldebaran star, and the moon was near the Yogatara of Antares. So it was two red stars again, and beautiful, beautiful night. I don't know if anyone has observed the full moon night yesterday on Saturday, Sunday night, 30th, 31st. So
Beautiful.
it was awesome. Yeah. So
Right
let's
on the
share.
Yogatara, right?
Right on the Yogatara,
Mhm.
sun and moon both were near the Yogatara. Sun was near the Yogatara of Rohini, and moon was near the Yogatara of Jyeshtha, which is Antares.
This is a strong full moon, very beautiful.
Strong full moon, yes.
Mm.
Okay, I have your date as in Krishna Pratipada. So today is Krishna Pratipada because we have crossed the full moon. Adhik-mas, Adhik-Jyeshtha month, and this is Shalivan Shaka, 1948. Some people follow Vikram year, so Vikram year is
Yes.
1983.
Yes.
So I thought today I will write in Hindi, the Hindi year, Krishna Pratipada, Adhik-Jyeshtha, and whatever
I
year you
think
are.
we should always do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway. Just an introduction. I know our audience will not need this introduction. We have 27 nakshatras. Everyone knows. 27 nakshatras are nothing but asterisms, the lunar asterisms. Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini. So moon takes 27 days for a full revolution around the earth. And every night you see it's close to some star. And these are all those stars, Indian names of those stars. Okay, 27 nakshatras. Now, how the Hindu months are named? We know that the month is named as per where that full moon of that month is. For example, if the full moon of that month is near Chitra Nakshatra, that month is called as Chaitra in Indian calendar system. Vaishak will be what? I think people should take a pause here, go back to this nakshatra table and see which nakshatra will correspond to the very closely to the name of Vaishak. Vishakha. So if the full moon is in the Vishakha nakshatra, that month is called as Vaishak. If the full moon is in the Jyeshtha nakshatra, that month is called as Jyeshtha. If the
And
full moon
Togiji is close to it, right? It doesn't always fall exactly in it.
doesn't plus minus one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
plus minus.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So if the full moon is in the Purvashada, Uttarashada, it will be Ashad, so on and so forth. That's how the Indian months names are kept based on where the full moon is close to what nakshatra. And based on that, the nakshatra names are kept. If the full moon is in the Mrigashira nakshatra, then that is called Margashirish month, or sometimes this month is also called Agrayan. Okay. So and so forth. This is the fill in the blanks for you. So that's how nakshatras and the names of the months are based on the nakshatra, where the full moon is in which nakshatra. Based on that, the month names are kept. Now, so that's about moon. What about the sun? The sun, this is approximate dates when the sun is transiting. From April 14 to May 13, sun is transiting the background of Aries. From May 14 to June 13, sun is transiting in the background of Taurus. Today is May 31st. So we know that sun is going in the background of Taurus region. So and so forth. So this is the sun transit dates. 12 months, 12 signs. And these signs are nothing but nakshatras again, 4 padas of Ashwini, 4 padas of Bharani, Kritikas 1 pada, comes in Aries, so and so forth. I think by now everyone may be expert in nakshatras and science, I guess. So I don't need to give introduction, but just to start with people who are new and who are attending for the first time, maybe I just thought to give those. So these are sun transit dates for particular signs. I hope that is clear. Let's go. Why we have Adhik-masa now? Now we are going into a little bit more calculation. To a very, very simple language, this slide is very in a simple month. Solar years, we know it takes about 365.25 days. Lunar years, one lunar is 29.5 days. Now, lunar year means one full moon to the next full moon, or one new moon to the next new moon. Same phase of the moon takes 29.5 days. If you take 12 of those, it is 354 days. And if you subtract this, it is about discrepancy of 10.87. Not 10 days, not 11 days, little bit short word of 11 days. Now, in 1 year, 11 days difference. Second year, 22 days difference. And by around every 32.5 months or something like that, you have about 1 month difference. So that's where the difference of 1 month comes. Because 12 lunar years and one solar year causes a difference of about 10 to 11 days. So after every 2.5 years or 32 months, then it becomes almost a 1 month period. And then we have to put one extra month to balance that out. And that's what Adhik-mas comes. Okay. So that's in a very rough way. Now, which Adhik-mas has to be included, why, and all that will go and study now further. But that's what it is. Because of the difference of 12 lunar year and one solar year, that causes a difference of 10 to 11 days. So after every 2 days, 2 years, it will be 22 days. And the next third year, it will be 33 after third completion of third. But before that itself, we need to compensate by putting one additional month. And that is what Adhik-mas is. Now, which Adhik-masa? Now, this year is special in 2026. We have Jyeshtha. We have 12 months, as we said, Chaitra, Vaishak, Jyeshtha, Asha, Shravana, so and so forth, 12 months. Which Adhik-mas has to come? For this year, we have Jyeshtha. Why we have Jyeshtha? Why not Adhik Chaitra? Or why not Adhik Shravan? Or why not Adhik Paush? Or why not? How that is determined? That's what I wanted to teach today. So let's say the new moon in Indian calendar system, a new month starts from a new moon day to the next new moon day. This is, I'm taking Amanta system. For explanation, let's talk today about the Amanta system. In some systems in North Indians, they will start the month from full moon to full moon. And that is mostly in the northern part of India. In the southern part of India, Maharashtra also, and some central regions of India, Maharashtra and the southern part, the month starts from new moon to new moon. So new moon to new moon, as we said, is 29. This is the exact date. It's not 29.5, 29.53058 days. You see the precision of those people, how they used to do that. That's what. Now, so it takes about 29.53 days. Now, in this period, now if you see in this table where we had approximately how much days sun takes to transit, April 14 to May 13th. It's about 1 month. That is about 30 days. May 14 to June 13, about 31 days. So about 31 days. Sometimes it can be even early too. For example, let's talk here, December 17 to January 13th. December 17 to January 13. So it's about 27, 28 days. So sometimes it takes 27, 28 days for the sun to transit one sign. Sometimes it may take about 30, 31 days for the sun to transit one sign. So sun's transiting period is about 30 to 31, 28 to 31 days. Okay. The sun takes about 28 to 33 days sometimes, depending upon what the speed and all. So generally, when the new moon to new moon comes, in general, many times sun will transit one sign. Makes sense, correct? Because in 29.5 days, sun is going to transit from one sign to the other sign. That is called as Sankranti, as we know. Sankranti means sun is going from one sign to other sign. Mesha Sankranti means sun is going to Mesha Rashi. Vrishabha Sankranti, sun is going from Mesha to Vrishabha. That is called as Vrishabha Sankranti. Okay. So we know that Mesha Sankranti will happen around April 14th. That's what your Baisakhi and all those New Year, Malayali New Year, Tamil New Year, Oriya New Year, Bengali New Year, Assami New Year, Punjabi New Year, all this happens on April 14th. That's when the sun is transiting Mesha sign. So it's a Mesha Sankranti. May 14th around, it's a Vrishabha Sankranti. Of course, these dates are also plus minus one, little bit here and there can be possible. June 14th is the Mithuna Sankranti, so and so forth. I hope that is clear. Correct? So far, so good.
Very clear, Togiji.
Okay, so in one new moon to other new moon, there will be generally there will be one Sankranti. Okay, what happens sometimes now? Let's see. Now we are taking an example of this year. Chaitra month started from March 18th. That was a new moon actually. March 18, 2023. They say 8:23 p.m. This is Central Time. To April 17th was the next uh, new moon at till 6:52 Central Time. If you take in Indian Standard Time, it will be accordingly. You have to add 10 hours, 30 minutes accordingly to get those Indian time. So those blue are all same time, but as per the Indian Standard Time, this yellow are given in Central Time. Okay, so for March 18th, whatever, wherever zone you are, you may be in Pacific time, you may be in Eastern time, you may be in Mountain time, you may be in London time, you may be in Japan time. Accordingly, you make, you want convert one into the other. Okay, so from March 19, I don't know. Okay, I am in Central time, so I will talk about this. From March 18th to April 17th, between this time to this time. Um, that was from one new moon to the other new moon. And in between that, on April 14th, what happened? The sun moved into Aries. Sun moved into Aries on April 14 today. I had not given the time here, but around that date. Same thing here. Then we have another new moon, which was again April 17, 6:52. There was a new moon to May 16th, 3:02 p.m. Central Time. There was another new moon, new moon. And the sun transit into Aries May 15th. Okay, so this was Chaitra, this was Vaishak. Now it's a Jyeshtha month. Now what happens? So let's see with the help of charts. Now I'm giving this in as per Delhi time. So you see this was a new moon, which corresponds to May 16, 3:02 p.m. in Central is same as May 17, 1:32 a.m. in India. Okay. So this is May 17, around 1:32, where you can see sun and moon both were in Taurus, 1 degree 44 minutes. Okay. Now what happens? In next new moon, you can see next new moon, which is happening on June 15th at 8:23 a.m. in Delhi, India. Again, sun and moon, same degrees, 29 degree 49 minutes, 29 degree 49 minutes in Mrigashira Nakshatra. That's a next new moon. So you see one new moon to the other new moon. Did Sankranti happen? This was in what? Sun was in Taurus. Here also the sun is in Taurus. Of course, this was in initial degrees of Taurus. This was at almost at the end of Taurus, but Sankranti did not happen. The sun did not cross. Because of this, so no Sankranti of sun occurred. Sun remained in the same sign of Taurus from May 17th new moon to June 15th. That's what I wanted to show. Sankranti did not happen. Generally, Sankranti will happen. This time Sankranti, sun did not transit a sign. And that's why we add the Adhik-masa. Now, this was, you can say that where was our new moon? Yesterday was a full moon, sorry. Where was our full moon? Between this two period, between May 17th and June 15th, between that period, yesterday, which was May 31st, or we can say today, not yesterday, it's today, uh, at 2:15 in Delhi, 2:15 p.m., which was May 31st, early morning in US. This was exactly the very close to 15:42. Sun was in Rohini, and this was at 15:40 in Anuradha. Very last degrees of Anuradha, or first, in fact, 15 degrees is closest point to Jyeshtha star actually. Okay, so this was the full moon happened. So that's why this month was called as, we had to add, the Sankranti did not happen. We have to add, that's why we have Jyeshtha month to be introduced. Because Chaitra, Vaishak, during this period, the sun did not transit the sign for the new moon to new moon between that. So we have two Jyeshtha months coming. So that's the technique basically. So which Adhik-mas has to introduce will be based on where the sun remained in that sign and which month is that. As per that, you will give that Adhik Jyeshtha. This time it happened in the Jyeshtha month, so we were given the name as Adhik Jyeshtha. Sometimes it can happen in the Shravana or Shravan month. So it will be Adhik Shravan, so and so forth. Okay. Now, what happens after that? And you can see that after that, uh, on June 15, 2026, we have a new moon. And then the next new moon will be what? On July 14th. Okay, again, same degrees. This was what? Sun was in Taurus. Now the sun is in Gemini. So from this June 15 to July 14, yes, the sun transited. So it becomes back to normal then. And then we will have one more Jyeshtha month, and then it will be like normal. Jyeshtha, then Ashad, and then Shravan, whatever. It will continue. So that's how we give the name Adhik Jyeshtha or Adhik Shravan or Adhik Chaitra or whatever. Okay. And this is that June 30th. This is the full moon, the coming full moon. Okay. So when is the next Adhik-masa now? Let's see. So now this happened in 2026. So Adhik-masa always happen in after about 32.5 months. So the next Adhik-masa is going to happen in around this period, 2029, around March 15. So let's see what's happening here. Sun and moon together. This is March 15, 2029. Okay. And this is also April 14, 2029, another new moon. So this is a new moon. This is a new moon. Sun is in what sign? Pisces. Sun is in what sign? Pisces. Did the sun transit the sign? No. We have to put one Adhik Masa. And accordingly, that Masa is coming to be as Chaitra for that. Because it's around that Chaitra system. Chitra Nakshatra thing. The full moon will happen around that. So then now we have Adhik Jyeshtha. The next Adhik Masa is going to come during this period in 2029, March, April time. And that will be a Chaitra Adhik. So next is Chaitra. Adhik Chaitra is going to happen. And so forth. So after every 32.5 months, this cycle will go on. So that's the concept of Adhik Masa, where you have to add one extra month after every 2.5 years, little bit more than 2.5 years, which is about 32.5 months, to compensate or to balance that calendar. Otherwise, the calendar will not be balanced. See, this system is not in Islamic system. In Islamic system, they depend upon their new moon to new moon. Jamadullah, Jamadullah Ka, Ramadan, Muharram, all that months. And that's why their festival always shifts by 10.87 or 11 days. If Eid is today on, I don't know when was the Eid, I'm just taking an example. Let's say Eid is today on May 11th, let's say. So next year, because of the shift, Eid will shift, Ramadan will shift -11, which will be around April 30th. After another year, it will be -11, 30 -11, 19. So April 19th will be the next. Next year, 19 -11, April 8th will be the Eid. So their system always, all the festivals of their Islamic system goes 11 days behind. And in 32, 33 years, they complete one whole year. It's very interesting. 32, 33, again, 33, 33. You see the numbers. Yep. But for us, in Indian calendar system, Hindu calendar system, I don't know what they say. Otherwise, the festivals will be very off. Janmashtami will be coming during summer. And there won't be. Krishna was born on a Janmashtami, right? And there was a there was a flood in the Yamuna River. How can there be flood in the Yamuna River if it is summer month? So we need those. So that's why our festivals also get shifts every year by 10, 11 days. Whatever festivals now you are going to have, the next year those Hindu festivals will be shifted by 11 days. The next year again by 11 days. Then Adhik Masa will come and then it is pushed forward. So that time period is maintained. So that's the system we have. I want to say something about this is adding 1 month to maintain the calendar system. Do we have a system where we cancel a month or we remove a month? That's also there, and that is called Shai. Shai means something which got lost. Shai is called Shai Bhav. Sometimes Shai Bhav is bad, something gets lost. So a
Reduction.
month is lost. Reduction.
Yeah.
Reduction. Adding reduction. So Adhik Masa is addition, Shai Masa is reduction. That also happens. Let's see when it happened. It happened, it's the frequency of Shai Masa is very less. But we will see what happened in the year 1983. You can see that the sun and moon, 29 degree 50 minutes, so it's an Amavasya. The next Amavasya happened, you can see 006 degrees, almost 0 degree 6 minutes. And sun is also 0 degree 6 minutes. So this is another new moon. So from January 14 to February 13. What happened here? Sun was in which sign? Sagittarius. What happened here? The sun is in which sign? It gone into Aquarius. This is the last degree of Sagittarius. This is the early degree. So, but it transited the sign, you see. It's almost one sign, but then since this was last 10 minutes, last degrees, last minutes of Sagittarius, this is very early minutes of Aquarius. But what happened? Sun transited two signs, Sagittarius to Capricorn and Capricorn to Aquarius in this new moon to new moon. That's where we have to then reduce because it is jumping two signs. So that's when the Masa will come. I am not going to talk about what month of Masa. Same system happens there too, but it will be a little bit too mathematical and all. But I won't go much into this. People who want can go through that. But that's what, when the sun remains in the same sign, Adhik-masa. When the sun transits two signs, then Masa. Masa happens very rare. It's once in 141 years. And then it comes in a span of sometimes 19 years also. And then 141 years. Then 140, something like that. So it's a very rare occurrence. Last time when we had Masa was in the year 1983, about 43 years back. The next Masa is going to happen in 21-24, which is, I'm sure, no one will be alive here. I think we all will be gone 98 years from now. So anyway, so that's happened. Even so, it's not always that we always add 1 month. Sometimes the calendar will also remove 1 month. Very interesting system. Calendar system is, when I learned back, all this calendar system was taught to me by when I took the course in astronomy 25 years back. This professor taught me. I was baffled how the system was made. This was in the in the year 2001. Great system. It's a whole topic in itself. So yeah, adding 1 month, removal of 1 month, and they did all this from years. I don't know how, but I'm amazed with the observation which they did and the calculations which they had at that time. So that's amazes me. People had problems, people had I think every culture had problems. There was in, I think, which year, 1500 something, where they have to remove 10 days because Easter was not aligning. There was Gregorian calendar thing, right? So they had those. People were struggling with all those calendar systems. Anyway, I will not go into much of history, but I want to say what Adhik Masa is there. Right now, we are into Adhik Masa. We have 15 more days. The Krishna Paksha of Adhik Jyeshtha started today and will continue for the next 2 weeks. What to do during this? Adhik Masa is also called as Purushottama-māsa, dedicated to Lord Vishnu. And what we have to do, it's focus on spiritual purification, self-discipline, devotion. It comes once in every 32, 33 years. So where probably it tells us to do some spirituality, self-discipline and devotion things so that you could achieve to your higher goal. What you can do mantra chantings, you can do scripture reading, follow a sattvic diet, fasting. I think all what this is like, okay, you have spoiled your body for the 32 months, so it's like rejuvenation. That's what fasting, sattvic diet, what is that? That's all basically take a break from, maybe I think that's what everyone should take a break after 2.5 years, that's what many people will do. If they are in a foreign country, go back to your home, um, go back to your roots, get rejuvenated. And that's what I think Adhik Masa is for. Rejuvenation, taking a break for the next cycle, for the next 33 months. And I think I will stop here. UG is going to talk about more on the spiritual aspects of it. But that's what Adhik Masa, how the mathematical concept of it is. So I will, from this point, I will hand over it to Eve. You can take forward and tell them about.
Togi, that was so good. I'm wondering about you doing more of this.
It was interesting concept, right?
Yeah, more on the calendar. Maybe they can tell us in the comments if they want that, because I'll happily be here with you and I'll play student and ask questions.
No, no,
So
it will be.
any of you listening, if you'd like Togi to do more of the calculations, I find it really important, increasingly important to understand, because a lot of even the interpretations of Jyotish, you'd be surprised how they're related to the calculations, even of the Vargas.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, so all right. So this is a unique month, and I have here Mahavishnu and Lord Shiva. I only have Lord Shiva for a specific reason that I'll get to later. Because with this month, we're dealing with a deeper principle. And the spiritual essence behind this month has deep significance. Sometimes people ask, it's just a calculation. They'll say, it's just a calculation. Does it really matter? It's just numbers. Like they're just adjusting the year. Well, actually, in this Vidya, in Jyotish Vidya, even numbers have a resonance. So the calculation even has a resonance. It has a reason. It has a purpose. So in brief, this month is mentioned in some of the Purans, and it used to be called Mala-māsa, Mala-māsa, Mala, getting rid of waste. So when you talked about purification or rejuvenation, okay, so it was a wasted month. It was a waste, an extra month, like something that's getting discarded. Padma Puran mentions this, and initially it was considered very inauspicious. Okay, so this is where we get into the importance of Sri Vishnu. And this is where the deeper principle comes in of making something useless useful. Okay, and I'm going to get more into that, but in Skanda Puran and other places too, they make different stories, right?
I like that what you said, Evji, making useful out of some useless. Like adding 1 month, it's like people may think it's a useless month, but no, that is required to maintain the calendar
It's the
system.
hub of the calendar system.
Exactly.
It's actually the most important thing. And
Yes.
yet somehow it had turned into something inauspicious.
Yes.
This is what our mind does. Okay,
Yep.
so Sri Vishnu, what does he come to do? What does he say? He's always coming to establish dharma.
Dharma. Dharma.
And this is the swadharma for each individual being as well as the collective dharma, right? So the story goes that Mala-māsa, feeling dejected, rejected, and upset, everyone insults me, no one wants me, I'm rejected, I'm discarded, no auspicious activities are done during me. Help me, Vishnu. I'm just dejected. And Vishnu, one of his primary attributes is always compassion. But that compassion is always backed up by a wisdom and a wit. Vishnu is very witty. He knows this is a useful month, meaning he understands, I think, that dharma maybe had slipped. Meaning considering something like this inauspicious is a bit silly because the whole calendar hubs on it. Just like the whole universe hubs on Mahavishnu. So Vishnu says, okay, now you'll be named after me. And not only that, I give you the blessing that now any sadhana, tapas, any upavas done during this month will multiply, maximize, expand at a rapid pace. So it'll be exceptionally sacred. So this Mala-māsa, this dejected month, became the most sacred month because of the blessing of Sri Vishnu. So classically, we avoid marriage, upanayanam, house construction, entering a new home. Why? If it's so sacred and auspicious, why would we avoid doing a new beginning? So we're going to examine that. We're also going to get to transits, guys. So there's a Jyotish portion of this too, but I want everyone to understand that your traditions that come from Bharat aren't, they're not random. Like Togiji was saying, you'll be impressed by the intelligence. Everything is perfectly put into place and well thought out. So before I continue, I know there's going to be some of you saying, I bought a house. I entered a new home. I maybe got married. I doubt they would do Upanayana because that usually a priest will say no. But don't worry. Look, this specific Adhika-masa is different. And the transits we're going to review, a lot of people are leaving jobs and starting a new job. A lot of people are changing locations. A lot of people are beginning new chapters of life. They're not going to be able to avoid it. That doesn't mean it's cursed. It doesn't mean that it's negative. It doesn't mean that it has any kind of problem. So before you think like that, you may have bought a property, you may have entered a new home. Typically, you want to avoid that month for the reason I'm going to explain. But this month, this one, I have a feeling a lot of people are going through transitions, so I don't want anyone worrying about that. It's not like Vishnu is going to curse you. Okay? It actually even could be making the inauspicious auspicious. Okay? So just don't worry about that. Traditionally, like Togiji would so beautifully said, this is used for japa, vrata, dana, tirtha, swadhyaya, self-reflection, Gita, studying Bhagavatam, learning about Vishnu. And you could be a Shaiva Bhakta, you could be a Shakta, you could be anything, you could be of any religion, but learning about Vishnu, why he comes into the avatar form, what is his role, what does he do? Learning about who he is really has benefits during this month. This is the month that he has claimed. And we're going to see why that too. So tapas, sadhana, upavas, all these activities, what are they doing? What do they do?
Yeah, purifying oneself.
Yeah, they purify you. They get you inside yourself. And so what is one of Vishnu's names? Antaryami. Antaryami, the one dwelling in every heart. Like Swami Vivekananda said, Daridra Narayana is within everyone's heart, the suffering Narayan, because we suffer in this place. But Narayan, if you've ever heard Narayana Suktam, I would recommend everyone hearing this video just taking it's 5 minutes. It's not a long thing. Go on YouTube and find a nice recital by priests doing the swaras properly. Listen to Narayana Suktam with your eyes closed and then read the meaning. Vishnu is not outside of you. He is outside of you, but he's also inside of you. And he is the welfare of the universe. He's the welfare. He's the protector, the preserver. So that Narayana Suktam is really beautiful. Okay, so let's consider who he is really quick. Compassion. If you notice, like Ram eats the fruits that had already been bitten. This is considered inauspicious, right? If someone bites your food and gives it to you, are you going to take it? but
Sabri, right?
yes, Shabari, because of her devotion.
Yeah.
So what was he seeing? Was he seeing her physical body? Was he seeing her that she was an old lady biting the? He was seeing Purusha. He was seeing who she really was. He was seeing the auspicious in the inauspicious. He's the one that has tolerance for our inauspicious qualities. He's the one that brings out the most auspicious. Anything he touches becomes auspicious. So he was seeing her devotion. He didn't see her as just a physical stula sharira, physical body. He was seeing the devotion, and he happily ate everything she gave him. Here you have him washing the feet of Sudama. Okay, Krishna. So this compassion is a theme with Vishnu. And compassion requires, it's a big part of dharma. It's one of the legs. Daya. Karun avatar. He's full of compassion. That's the only reason he would come to this place. So that's one of the main legs of dharma that we distort. Okay. So seeing people beyond their image, nationality, age, color, education level, status, Vishnu sees none of that. He's antaryami. He's dwelling in their heart. When you hurt another, you hurt Vishnu. This is a fundamental principle in Hindu or Sanatan. This is a fundamental principle. So this is the month that we take aside to realize what's holding everything together. The month that's holding the whole calendar together. The glue. You could say love, but love in English is not equivalent to this. So knowing value in the internal, beyond the appearance, beyond the so-called inauspicious. Vishnu is always breaking that rule. You know, it goes into so many things if we just think about it. Look, Krishna was dark like a storm cloud. Ram was even said to be a complexion of a blue lotus. Why are they making him white? I mean, you had to ask these questions. We've somehow got in these weird mindsets. This is auspicious and this is not auspicious. But what does the Lord of the universe, Vishnu, I know that sounds a little, I'm more devoted, maybe. Some people are going to think more logical. Maybe they don't feel a connection to that side of devotion, but I'm still saying the supreme intelligence. If the supreme intelligence takes a form and tells you that something is auspicious that you thought was inauspicious, who knows best? So this is the whole principle of getting you to go within, because when you're within, we're all the same color. We're all the same gender. We have no gender. We're all, you see, we're all the same substance. So these things help us go there. So it's traditional. Like, let's talk about a few little blessing your Vishnu yantra. If you're a Vishnu Bhakt, if you're Vaishnav, this is a very important time for you. Blessing your Vishnu yantra, cleansing the murtis, the 19 mukhi rudraksh, actually, purchasing or getting a 19 mukhi rudraksh and charging the yantra and the rudraksh with the Vishnu Sahasranamam or recitation of the Gita or reading even the Mahabharata, Ramayana. All these things are full, dripping with knowledge. That's why knowledge was referred to as milk from a cow. Indra milks Brahaspati. He doesn't literally milk Brahaspati. He's milking him for the knowledge. It's nourishment. So during this month, we separate that which is real nourishment, the foundation of all. So let's say you have a tree and you're growing it. Let's say you're growing a little tree. It's a little sprout. Togi, what will happen if you only care for the leaves and you don't water the roots?
That's it. It is going to die.
The
It's not going to
roots,
get the full nourishment. No.
the nourishment comes from the roots, but we're all pruning the leaves. When we look at each other for only the body, you're looking at a leaf. One leaf on a big tree, one lifetime on a big tree of lifetimes. You're one leaf and you're judging people by that. When Sri Vishnu doesn't do any of that. So it's our time to remember who he is, what he comes for, to nourish the roots. It's actually that simple. So that's why we don't do physical things, because these are things of the body. One lifetime you're born a woman, one lifetime you're born a man. One lifetime you're born a snail, elephant. Who cares? It's the Narayan, the root. It's the root that we nourish during this. It doesn't mean if you moved or went into a new home that you're cursed. It doesn't mean you got bad luck. It's nothing like that. It's a very deep thing. You're supposed to be inward. So if you had to do these things, let's say you had to enter a new home. So maybe it has some internal significance for you. Okay, so the only reason is this. Anything dealing with these Prajapati rules. Prajapati rules. So there's the Prajapati path, which is the Pravruti Marg. All these things are Pravruti Marg. They're all moving outward. Even all the elaborate rituals and homas and yajnas, they're important. They're actually very important, like we talked about in our other video, Togi, like cloud seeding. Having the householder everyone had their fires out. And they help the external environment and make the life pleasant for everyone. Prajapati rules are important sometimes. They keep everything nice for everyone. But there's also the Nivruti Marg. What if your mind is very unhappy? but your body's healthy.
You can't be healthy.
Yeah, you won't enjoy it, right? But if mind is happy and body is suffering a little bit, of course, real suffering can distract the mind. But I'm saying if the body's not perfect, but the mind is content and stable, we're happy. You can be happy in a prison if your mind is happy. I'm not saying it's ideal. Please don't go to prison. But I'm saying that if you have what Lord Vishnu is trying to give you in this time, you won't see people for their body, their possessions, their status. You'll see the real being within them. Then you would know them. You wouldn't talk down to anyone. The starving dogs on the street or the starving people on the street will affect you differently. Okay, so this is a movement this is a compassion movement, but real compassion, not weeping over people in this emotional drama. It's actually the stable form of compassion that's exhibited by Lord Vishnu. And you only have that if you're still inside. So that's what this is really rooted in. So I have this Bhagavatam shlok here, roughly translated. Okay? So one form of Vishnu, you have to understand, this is the inner dweller. Do you know? Even in the Shiv Samhita, which is a book on Yoga Shastra, Lord Shiva himself, he says, one of the things that qualifies a person to practice yoga and to get the secrets, the Guhya Vidya of yoga, is to be fond of the Vishnu Sahasranamam. Shiva and
Interesting.
Vishnu, isn't that beautiful, Togi?
Yeah.
Yeah. I find that there's a lot of mention of Vishnu. If you look at the Yoga Upanishads, all the Yoga Shastra, there is so much about Vishnu. There's even meditations on the Om Namo Narayanaya mantra. And with Shiva's Panchakshari, we have what? Punch, right? Panchakshari, 5.
Yeah. But
Does that mean we include Omkar? It becomes 6 then. 6 syllables. It's Namah Shivaya. Shivaya. But Narayan has something interesting because for his mantras, Vishnu, Om is included. The Omkar, the Ashta, the 8-syllable mantra of Vishnu, Om Namo Narayanaya, has to have Omkar. So Omkar meditation is even considered supreme to all others. And then they relate the connecting syllable that holds them both together, the Ukara, is Vishnu, the one holding the and Makara together. Like this month, holding the calendar together, holding everything together. How can it be inauspicious? Okay, so there's a form of Vishnu. He enters deep inside the Brahmand, the universe, this egg, the universe, Garbo, Hiranyagarbha, the golden egg, or a golden womb of the universe. Reaching its center, he creates within it a second universe. It's mysterious, the inner universe. Every physical being has an inner universe. Then we go to the next form of Vishnu that he diffuses himself into the soul. He becomes the super soul of the entire universe and resides within the heart of every living being, where he's called Paramatma.
looks like fractals.
It does.
You
The
have to
universe
know.
is absolutely fractals. It's his dream. If he stops seeing it, he's the open eye. If he stops looking at it, Makara happens. Maro, destroy it, kill. Then Shiva takes over. When Vishnu goes to sleep, he's asleep to the physical universe, and then he becomes Mahesh. And this Mahesh sees the inner, but does not see the outer. Why is Shiva's eyes always like this? He's withdrawn. This is the Mahesh principle. This is why he's related to sleep in the Avastas and all of this. And this is why Shiva rules the Tamaguna principle, the sleep. Because you're sleeping to this world, but you're actually awake to something else. Okay, so here I have, this is why I put Shiva on the front cover too. The warning of Daksha's yajna here. The whole thing started because of Daksha's Prajapati pride. He had Prajapati Pashu Vritti, meaning I am my status. I am my body. I was born into this status. I was ordained by Brahma. I. This guy's in a cremation ground. He's dirty. He's filthy. He has nothing. He hangs out with bhutas and pretas and pishashas and God knows what. He has left-handed agoris, people eating meat, people smoking this ganja, people doing all kinds of things. I am pure. He is dirty. And there's a story that my teacher used to tell, and he took, because this came from he was from Nagpur. So probably a village, probably a story that's evolved out of this. Some of you may have heard it. So the way he would tell it was that Mahadev refused to bow to Prajapati, to the Prajapatis, to Daksha, because he knew the inner secret that if someone greater bows to someone lesser, they ruin them. Or if that person forces you to bow, you ruin them. He did not want to ruin his father-in-law because he knew that Daksha was still attached to all the Prajapati business, and he was not. So spiritually, through his tapas, he was greater. So it makes Shiva look arrogant. And Daksha, not understanding this principle of the internal, the whole drama starts from there. From Daksha's vanity and pride. So seeing something which is impure in front of you, seeing something that you are judging as impure, this is where this warning comes in of this vritti of the mind, that you are, we're superior through external established identities. There's even an Upanishad on what makes a real Brahmin. They never say bloodline. It's not mentioned in there. I actually think the tradition is important through bloodline, okay? I'm not saying, because there's a reason for Prajapati. There's a reason for these rules. But a real Brahmin, everyone should go read it. Go look it up. I'll give you that homework. Does not mention bloodline. It's quality of nature, of character. Someone who puts Brahma Jnana before avidya and establishes themselves there. So Shiva was absolutely a Brahmin, and Prajapati was not behaving. The Daksha was not behaving in a way suitable to a Brahmin, because a Brahmin is supposed to have jnana. So he was not behaving from a place of internal knowledge. He was behaving from a place of appearance. He assumed Shiva was prideful and assumed he was inauspicious without knowing he's Mahadev. He's the great God. So this is something that can become inauspicious within us, thinking we're auspicious, and it becomes a dharma itself because it removes compassion. One of the legs of dharma is compassion. Okay, so now we'll go into the astrology part, the Jyotish part. I think you guys understood that well, right, Togi? That was clear.
Yep.
Very simple. And let's look at...
This is the month to go internal.
It's internal, yes. To get rid of all the external clinging. Things have to be this way. And you move into a new house, you're decorating it, you're a lot of external focus. So they're trying to just get you to stop. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Stop the vrittis. any little vritti, all this, I want this and I want that, just nourish yourself instead of dispersing yourself outward. That's all. Because that actually leads to Brahma Jnana. That leads to the real knowledge, whereas the external path leads to delusion, confusing the impermanent with permanence, right? This body's going to die. It's going to grow old. Sooner or later, I'll get gray hair. I'm waiting on it. I should have it, but I know it will happen. This body will go. So prioritizing this thing over the roots, the tree will die. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at some people that are one person. I've looked at quite a few charts and found some people that were born on Adhika Masa. And what I found was really interesting because there were a lot of unique people that did strange things, out of the ordinary things. Okay, this is definitely out of the ordinary. This is Jane Goodall, and she's a famous primatologist, worked with primates, and devoted her whole life to it. So instead of looking down on them because they're monkeys and they're dirty and they're, you know, they touch all parts of their body and God knows what, she connected with them. It's interesting. It's a Vishnu principle here. We're monkeys to Vishnu. Bandar. So he does this, I felt it was very relevant. Okay, let's look at transits, guys. Let's move out of the deep waters and go to some little bit more practical thing of why this might be a little bit of a hyped up, energetic Adhika Masa. A lot of people having to work hard, working a lot, no time. People may be leaving jobs, changing jobs. I've heard a lot of this. This is why I wanted to look at the transits for all of you. Now I'll explain what I've got highlighted here very simply. The little stars are hemmed nakshatras. So we've had something happening since Shani moved into Revati recently. We've had, before he moved in, we had this Revati hemmed. Okay, now he moved into Revati, and then soon after this, Mangal hops over too, but we'll get there. But we've had hemmed Aries a lot through this month so far, and we're not through with the Adhika Masa. So we've had hemmed Aries, hemmed nakshatras inside of the Rashi Aries. So how we might see this is that the Rashi is a territory, like a jungle. And then nakshatras are like the 3 different types of trees growing in that jungle giving fruits. And they all give different kinds of fruits. One might be a banana tree, one might be a coconut tree. And that's why the nakshatras become so important, because you might know it's a jungle or a desert or a mountain, okay, or a pine forest. You might know what kind of terrain a Rashi is, but the definition of it comes by what the trees are giving. What the trees are giving to us, okay? So when you have hemmed nakshatras, one principle is they're hyperactive. Okay, so we see here, we have Bharani nakshatra hemmed between Mangal and Surya. So that's what that little star is. Nakshatra number 1 is Ashwini. Nakshatra number 3 is Kritika. So we have nothing in Bharani here, 1 nakshatra between. If it's 2, it's not hemmed. 1 nakshatra between 2 grahas, hemmed. So it's receiving a full blast of the 2 grahas. So that nakshatra gets hyperactive. Okay. Now you're going to see Rahu and Ketu with a square around them. And this is your Kalasarpa Yoga, classical Kalasarpa Yoga. So all the planets are trapped between Rahu and Ketu. So that's unique too. Not every Adhika Masa we're going to have this. Okay, so we have the Kalasarpa Yoga going on. And we have the dispositors circled in green. And these are just Rashi dispositors. Okay, so we have Shani for Kumbha, and we have Surya for Simha, for Leo. Okay, so Surya is dispositing Ketu, and Shani is dispositing Rahu. This becomes important during a Kalasarpa Yoga transit, is to look for the dispositors for the territory that they're in, because this helps us discern what's going to happen from that Kalasarpa Yoga. And because we're in Adhika Masa, Surya and Chandra may have extra importance. Okay, because this is based on their relationship. It's all based on their movement. So the nodes will become naturally very heightened because of the moons. They're nodes of moon. Okay, so these are very important that Surya is a dispositor because he's an important factor even in this month. So what might happen? So I've written some things down here. Please take screenshots because I won't read all of it. But the beginning of this month, we had the dispositors in Shivratri Murti Nakshatras. Okay. And this is good for letting go, cutting bandhan. Okay. If there's something you've been holding on to for a long time, honestly, just let it go. One of the tests, if something is real, let it go. If it's real, it'll come back to you. Why do you have to control it? If it's real, it'll come back to you. That's it. Because it's all about internal focus this month. Okay. So I have these things written down here for anyone who's really into this part with the transits. I want to move through. So please do take a screenshot, but I wanted to highlight those of you that have been observing this month. This is excellent for clearing ancestral debt, the Pitru, the Pitru dosh and all of that stuff. Bondage, like I said, cutting bandhan is a big theme with this. Okay, cutting bondage. Okay, the hemmed Barney gives that an extra push. Okay, so this is a good month to burn restrictive karmas. Okay, you're not helpless. You're not hopeless. The grahas are not controlling you. They're weather forecast. They release karma phalam into your path, and then you get to decide how to deal with that. And this month is about the willpower of Lord Vishnu. He takes this on himself. He says, this is my month. He changes the law. You are no longer Mala-māsa. You now have my name, Purushottama. So you have that same Purushottama within you. And that's why the yogis say that, yeah, your chart, your kundali, yeah, it shows the design of your karma. But karma is a bondage. It's not you. It's one leaf on the tree. When you die, chart dies. And maybe some karma carries over, but you'll get a new chart with a new janma, new birth. So you do have that engine within you that can burn restrictive karmas. If you look at this slide, I made sure to put this. It's also said in the Vaishnava Shastras that Brahma created the universe through tapas, Narayana maintains it through tapas, and Mahesh destroys it through tapas. The power of tapas, the power of that friction is within you. That's not a helpless thing. Okay, so moving on, I have some other who might be affected by this month. I figured people might want to know. So these keywords here too are important. Rebirth, the end of an era because of Revati, the ending, the closing of a cycle. One of the dispositors of the node is in Revati. Okay, a cycle's cutting, a cycle's ending, cutting bandhan, as I just said. Inner potency, revealing the importance of inner adjustment. It's your own potency speaking to you. If you're going through a difficult transition, just know this is within you and it's highlighting the importance of inner adjustment. Okay, so even in the outside world, understanding the importance of adjusting yourself to it properly. Okay, so the signs that are going to be very affected naturally are Simha and Kumbha because that's where the nodes are transiting. That's always a big deal. Meena, because of the dispositor Shani. Vrishab, dispositor Surya, as Togi showed us. We have Surya and Vrishab until it enters Mithun, when this closes, right? Okay, then Nakshatra is important. Bharani, because it gets hemmed quite a bit. Then Mangal moves into it. Kritika starts becoming hemmed. Revati naturally. And Rohini. Okay, these are big nakshatras right now. I would also tell Makara and Capricorn and Cancer that the drishti of Rahu and Ketu, because they always look behind them, people tend to forget that. So they're always looking behind them because they're moving towards that next sign, backwards. So they have a full drishti on the Rashi behind them. So This is Capricorn and Cancer. And also Mangal. Mangal has, in my experience, an ability to hit all the Chara Rashis when he's placed in one. Okay, so that's going to bring in the Libra too. Okay, naturally, full drishti on that. Okay. All right, so Ekadashi is a very important time. It already passed. I just wanted to highlight this for any of you that have done the Ekadashi Vrat or, you know, by the way, Dwadashi is considered important. Maybe in another time, if Togi does more calculations, we can explore why, because this is a more hidden thing, but this is also considered important. And Amavasya, these three are considered very, very important. Of course, Purnima is always, full moon is always important, but these three are very, very potent for the internal, the cleansing. Okay. So if you did the Vrat or you did any kind of sadhana on that Ekadashi, if you observed it, it was very potent because moon was outside, of course, breaking the Kalsarp Yoga. So moon, the cleansing of the chitta, the cleansing of the mind. Very, very beautiful time to do that, especially because it's in Hasta Nakshatra, which is a very manas-oriented nakshatra. So very special if you did that. Okay. Now let's look at Purnima, which we just had, like Togiji said. And technically, I just pulled the chart of the day. It would have been in fourth pada. It would have been at the very just, I mean, it was so close to Jyeshtha, right? So
Yeah,
close
yeah.
and right on the Yogtara.
It is on the Yogatara of Jyeshtha. So,
Yeah, right on. So in here, this Purnima, which, we just had, we now have the Rashi of Mesha is lit up. It's lit up. Ashwini is hymned and Kritika is hymned. And they're all Krura Grahas, hymning, right? All of these are in the classification of Krura Graha. So we're going to talk about that. Then we have moon, of course, if it's Purnima, it would naturally be breaking the Kalsarp Yoga. In this case, you can't have, yeah, it'd be very hard. You'd have to have, yeah. Anyway, so Purnima is outside of the Kalsarp Yoga, and it's Anuradha. I would even say there's probably an influence of Jyeshtha because of the Yogadhara, right, Togiji?
yep.
I've seen both happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like both fruits, both fruits. Okay, so we have this breaking of the Kalsarp Yoga. We have these him nakshatras. And we have Mangal that is just moved with the full moon. He's just like basically popped over into Bharani in the Agni Tattva Pada, the first Pada. So do you understand how much Agni is in this full moon? Meaning this is very high Agni. So this one is very good for, let's take Ashwini. This could be the reason why some people have had to have new beginnings. Changing location, new car, new this, new that. Okay. This is all this Ashwini Falita. This is all this Ashwini fruits, new beginning, starting over. Okay. Rebirth, Bharani, the Mangal moving into Bharani. I just wanted to include that. Okay. Revelation on things that harm us. This is going to be prominent. For people that have Aries, for people who have Mesha Rashi, look within if anything's happening, because I did write this could be eruptive for some people. This could be explosive for some people. Like Togiji, what do you think about Aries?
Oh, because of so many fire planets there, you know.
Yes,
So,
it's
what's
so much.
happening in the world? Look at it.
Look at it. Yeah, they always, yes, exactly. This ring of transits from Mangal and Danisha this whole time started a fire.
I'm just thinking what will be with respect to the worldly events.
Yeah, yeah. If you think of anything, you can interject if you'd like to share that, because I was going to talk about that and then I was a little cautious. But I will say it's explosive. It's quite explosive. And people underestimate Critica for this. Critica is a very cutting star. Okay, he
Our
can be
our
very
our friend,
abrupt.
our friend Mr. Trump is also in Magha. He's strong Magha too.
Oh yeah, and then we have the Maga. Yeah, he's got the
Magha,
Ketu
Ketu thing.
transiting. He's had all those assassination attempts. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Anyway, let's
yeah,
talk good things.
yeah. But it's, it is a part of what people are dealing with. Yeah.
And Jupiter is also in the Yogatara of Punarvasu, very close to the Yogatara.
Yes. Yes. Jupiter's about to pop over into Cancer as well.
Yeah,
He's
in
right on
few
the
days.
verge.
Yeah, just few days.
He's right on the verge. So there's a lot of change happening. And
When is
because
when is it going to Cancer? I need to check.
June 2nd,
Second, correct? Yeah.
mhm,
Oh, it says June. It says in
first,
my
second,
June 1st.
it's like in the middle of
Exactly,
the night.
exactly 24 hours from now, it shows 0000 Cancer. So
Oh, okay. So there we go. Yeah.
like tomorrow, basically.
Tomorrow. Okay, so that is the first then. Okay, so yeah, so he's doing the crossover to new Rashi as well. So he's on the verge of entering new Rashi. Yeah. This is so there's a tremendous amount of movement with the big players on the
What
field.
do you think? People will ask you, Jupiter going to the Cancer, going to the exaltation degrees of Cancer. I know that the question will come. So what do you
I
think?
always tell them to be cautious with expecting Ucha to be positive.
Ah, okay.
Don't inflate hopes. But also don't, and not saying to be pessimistic, I'm saying to be neutral and watch because Jupiter's not controlling everything. So sometimes when you make these transit videos and you say, like, Jupiter's entering Cancer, it's going to be fantastic. What about Mongol? What about Shani? What about this? What about that? And what about the relationship of everything? So this is it can't be done that way. But for people that are in Guru Dasha, because Guru is their king right now, he's Dashapati. So Vimshodri Dasha, if they're in Guru Dasha, it should make some change. Okay, if they're in Jupiter Dasha, for sure. Antardasha, Jupiter Antardasha, depending on the placement of Jupiter in their chart as well. I don't think Jupiter transiting the eighth is inauspicious, for example. I've actually witnessed that very good things, such as even sometimes someone gets married because they gain in-laws.
Hmm.
I've seen this. A.V. Sundaram talked a lot about the eighth house in marriage and things like that. And people fear the eighth house. So if it's going into your eighth house, please don't worry. Please don't. So I would put people's mind at ease about those kind of things that get hyped up. But I would also tell them that when Jupiter is Ucha, please don't also expect all your problems to be solved overnight. There's so many transits. And also this Ucha is might be a misunderstood business too. So we
Hmm.
don't really know what the Rishis would consider Ucha. They were very dharmic. They thought about everything through dharma and moksha. So, on a mundane level, Jupiter usually affects the banking systems, right? On a mundane level, he affects wealth, for sure. So this could be interesting. This could be interesting because people underestimate Venus and Jupiter for this, okay, for instance, Venus. Venus are those resources which deplete and revive. So if you get a paycheck, that's a Venus. Meaning Venus is reproductive fluid, right? It depletes and
Correct.
revives. So any resource that has an end that you have to revive from is Shukra.
Jupiter is also finance.
But
Correct.
I was just going to say, he's the bank.
Right. So
It's
banks,
harder.
banks are always a problem these days. So I don't know.
He's
Every
the bank. He's the banking system.
we have
He's,
a lot of problems with banking systems these days. So
yeah. And I have noticed through uh, focused research, okay, throwing everything out that you think you know, Jupiter has something to do with tech.
hmm.
He's Akash Tattva. The tech we're using now is through Akash. So there is something with tech with Jupiter, this modern tech. I don't know about these machines and all that. I wouldn't say that's Jupiter. But the way that we communicate through the Akash, like even everyone seeing this video in different places of the world, the way this is working. So these things with satellites, these things with, and Venus has a role in tech. Why? Conveniences, things that make life easy, convenient, that you're privileged to have, because Venus is luxury products. So the thing with Venus and Jupiter should be watched very carefully, especially now that Bud has crossed Rohini. After Bud crosses Rohini, if he look at this as like a Saraswati yoga, right?
Hmm.
But on the mundane side, This has a lot to do with finances and currency and all of that. Okay. So once he passes Rohini, which is a very important nakshatra for Budh, and he joins anything like, because he's Rajas. He has a Rajas activity. He's abrupt. He can cause sudden crashes. He can cause sudden height, sudden down, sudden this. He's called Chala. He goes all over. He goes retrograde all the time. So this fluctuation of the stock markets and all of this. So these guys are all dealing somehow with the structure of the modern financial system and the banking system and the current the how once you pour water off your hands, you can never get it back. It goes onto the ground. That's why we take a vrat. That's why we take a vow like this, or sankalpa. That's why we do sankalpa with this water. Venus is Jala Tattva. So one advice is very careful investments. I really have to say that. I didn't want to get into this and this, but Togi-ji, I'm taking you as a nimitta that maybe we should talk about it. So, be very careful with your investments. This is
Oh, yeah.
it's a little unstable. Don't think that Jupiter being Ucha is going to be good for everyone, and don't think it's going to be bad just because it's in the 8th or 12th. A lot of people get misled by that. Okay, there's a nuance to it, and it depends on the dashapati. That's a big deal. So someone in a Guru Dasha, of course, this is a bigger deal, but also where is Jupiter placed from your dashapati? So there's little nuances like that that make a lot of difference. Is Jupiter a major karaka? Is he a purushartha? Is he dharmapati, arthapati? Especially if Jupiter's your arthapati, So there's a lot of nuance. Okay, so maybe Togi, we can do some things with that, with calculations
The
too.
market is really very difficult to predict these days. I don't know what's happening. It's every day. The oil prices and all you see with
It's
the
not
up,
going to
down. So like
this
I
month.
follow the markets. I'm like
See,
myself, I don't know what happens.
yes, exactly. So
Very erratic.
this may look positive, like someone may look at like Mangal Shani Rahu conjunction and think it's really bad, but then someone all of a sudden becomes a millionaire when that gets activated. And then they have some pleasant conjunction like this and they lose everything. So this is those nuances that we have to be very careful advising people. One thing I can tell you is this is not simple and it's not as positive as it looks. Now that Buddha has crossed Rohini, everyone should be very careful with money and resources. Now that Buddha has crossed the marker of Rohini, everyone should be careful. Okay, and now especially when he joins Jupiter in Cancer. So be very careful. Some people will gain a lot, some people will lose a lot. Because whatever Jupiter does, he does it in abundance. If he does a bad thing, he does it in abundance. If he does a good thing, he does it in abundance. It's always dramatic with Jupiter. So I would say to watch it carefully and trust a gut instinct over what, if some Jyotishi, if one of us is telling you, I don't know, just be very careful. You need to follow something in your gut. This is why this month, go internal and listen to yourself over others. These transits are not simple. Since Mangal, see, there's something in Nakshatra Jyotish that there's trigger points that when a graha crosses, it carries a force all the way around to another nakshatra. So for Mangal, I'll tell you, it's from Dhanishta to Pushya. The cycle is from Dhanishta to Pushya. And he's not done with his work until he gets that cycle, until he gets to Pushya. So he carries that thing he ignited in Dhanishta through. He'll carry it, he'll agitate it, or it'll be good, whatever it is, success, whatever, but he'll carry it through. So Mangal, I'm watching very closely. And since he's crossed Dhanishta, and of course he moves a little faster, so this happens a lot, but you should watch it. And he had quite a few explosive things in combination with him because Shani and Guru were both Abhilashi. At the time that he was crossing that Dhanishta point, they were both, one looking towards Neecha point, the other one looking towards Ucha point. And this actually hasn't happened, I think, since the 1400s. I can't do the math well, but it's hard to get that exact where Shani's looking at Mesh meaning he's going towards his niche point, and then Jupiter is going towards his ucha. So that should be watched. I think I had looked at it a little while back, and there was a discovery during that time that was really important about the connection of Tamil people, China, and all these different places were doing trade that they didn't know were doing trade in the 1400s. And they discovered that, and it happened during that time that there was this unique trade system going on in exchange of technology, the technologies they had then. That's interesting
Oh.
because we're having this boost and this focus on technology. Okay, so there is a lot of little subtle points like this. You have to be really careful with Jyotish because everything's a subtle current. And so one transit of Mangal through Aries is not ever going to be the same as the next transit of Mangal through Aries because the other planets will be placed different. So the forces are all working on each other. Okay, so right now we have an explosive Mesha. Okay, it's pretty explosive and it's pretty hot. And then we have a mysterious movement of the ones dealing with our well-being in this world, these two Rajas Grahas and this Mr. Bank, Mr. Banks here. Okay, so, really, really do watch out for your security right now. I would tell everyone that it's an unpredictable time. Be careful. Be careful of the sources you trust, even for news, all of that, don't trust it. You need to follow your internal compass. Okay, so we're in the Kali Yuga. The war will be on truth because the last leg, because doesn't Kali mean one? It's like
Kali,
one,
Kali,
yeah.
yeah, one bird.
Kreta, 4,
Correct.
Treta, 3,
Kali,
Dwapar, 2.
hmm,
Now we only have one leg of Dharma. And
Kali
so
Yuga.
the attack is on that. The attack of Adharma is on truth. So that tells you really, buying into this is not going to help anyone. You need your own internal truth. Now, mysteries can be revealed. I will say this can be something very interesting because that Shani is the karaka of secrets. I know a lot of people will say that Rahu and Ketu always get a lot of drama around them. But in the Shastra, it actually relates Shani to secrets. Is Shani carrying secretive energy? He's silent. He's withheld. He's withdrawn. He doesn't tell you his plan. And when he transits Revati, this is his birth star. So any graha transiting their birth star, that star is the friction that led to their creation. So what would give birth to the karma karaka, Shani? You have to think about this, all those hidden actions. His pratyari devatas, Yamdev, Yamraj, Yama. What you do in the secret is not so secret as Shani. So he's naturally karma karka, but he's also the karka of secrets, gupt. He's a gupta karka. So there can be a lot of friction actually around secrets, I would say. It's not going to be simple. It's not going to be simple because the star creates friction of his birth. He's also perfect in vairagya, detachment. So what creates vairagya is attachment, realizing the suffering through attachment, realizing attaching to the impermanent and mislabeling it as permanent causes dukh. So he's also dukkha karka. So all the things that happen with Shani should be watched very closely because he's fully Abhilashi now. He's moving forward. He's getting ready for his Nietzsche point. Some people take it in degrees. I take it through Rashi. I've seen it work through Rashi. Maybe not when Purva Bhadra, but when he gets at the end of Uttarabhadra, trust me that he's He's anticipating his niche, his Nicha point. And Nicha is full of Shakti. That's why in the Tantra traditions, they give Nicha grahas to Mahavidyas. So who's the Mahavidya for I just said it, for Shani? Kali, the Mahakali. So for sadhaks of Shakta traditions, this is a sacred transit, him moving towards his Nicha
For
point.
Tara, it is what? Rahu?
For Tara,
Yeah. Rahu for Tara, right?
it's Guru.
Is Guru? Oh.
So some traditions observe that when, and I believe Sanjay Raji follows this. Some traditions say that when a planet is Ucha, it's like the avatar. See,
Ah.
you would take Vaman avatar because that's Guru's. He's going to be Ucha, so that's Vaman avatar. And then when Shani moves into Mesh, and specifically Bharani, he will be Kali. So for Shaktas, this is a happy thing, okay? For people with a lot of fear, they're probably going to fear this unnecessarily. But nonetheless, Shani always brings with him karmic consequences. And this will affect the collective somehow. He also is the Karga of Seva. So some service to the people could happen, meaning, I don't know, there could be revolts, rebellion. Okay, so revolts and rebellion could happen as Shani's moving towards Mesha. Let's see. Okay, so let's get to these. Okay, so now we have Amavasya, which hasn't happened yet. So all of you can take a look at this one because this one hasn't happened. Excuse me, guys, I've been speaking a bit today. Just need a drink of water. Okay. So look at this, Togiji. What do you see?
For the Amavasya,
For Amavasya, yeah.
Rahu Ketu axis is still there. Again, we have a Kalsarpega. Jupiter has already moved into that. We have Aries. What is that? Which nakshatra is named? I think
Ashwini Kritika.
Ashwini and Kritika. Kritika again.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so again, the fire thing is active.
Yes. Explosive.
And Jupiter is going with Venus. That too. One is in, I think it is in Punarvasu and Pushya. Venus is in Pushya and that is in Punarvasu.
Yes.
Jupiter, Venus. Again, that shows something related to finance too, I could say.
It
Mars
could.
is, Mars is aspecting them too. You see,
Yes.
fourth aspect of Mars falling on them.
Yes.
And then I
Ketu
think,
is looking at them.
yeah.
See,
And
so
then
is this going to be a normal Ucha
and
Guru?
Saturn's, it's Saturn's 159 basically placements.
Yes, the naughty trine.
Very trines, yeah.
Yeah. So we have an interesting scenario here because the Ucha Guru is getting a drishti of Ketu and Mangal when he enters his Ucha Rashi. And at some point in his Ucha point, he's going to be conjunct Ketu. Now, for spiritual reasons, this is excellent, right? For spiritual things, for sadhana. And I was just amplifying anyone drawn to do this Pitru debt clearing, ancestral debt clearing, this Bhuta Pishash, all that stuff, unexplained phenomena. Okay, unexplained phenomena is, I think we're going to get more and more of this kind of strange thing happening. This Revati Shani hymning the Ashwini. Now, Mangal's going to move pretty soon, so Ashwini will stop being hymned. But yeah, this is a prominent Amavasya. It's probably going to be an ignition point for something. But for spiritual seekers, I would say this is very potent. So once again, this cutting of bandhan, all of this, cutting ties that you know need to be cut. This is going to be somehow important. Okay. All right. So now we have the end, the Adhika Masa end. And we have, I want you to look at the axis point from the moon, ignore the lagna. So we're going to have the 3-9 axis point. And this is always the battle between adharma and dharma. This is really what this is. I'm not saying that the third is adharma. Please don't get the mind really wrapped in that kind of thing. But the third house is one's personal thinking. This is the, over here, third, fourth, and fifth. This is the Chitta Vibhav, the group of bhavas that are the Chitta, the personal mind. So having the Ketu third from the moon and the Rahu placed ninth, this is some shaking up of personal philosophy and a good time to examine your true swadharma and see if the third seems to seek personal philosophy based in kama. It's a kama bhava. Okay, so how would this affect the world? Third house is not necessarily, this is not necessarily peaceful. These transits are not necessarily peaceful. Okay, so it is a shaking up of something. This is a shaking. So that's really all I have for you guys today. Other than that, I just had Upasani Maharaj with making the useless useful. And anyone that wants to screenshot it, I'm not going to read it. I'll just move through the pages. Okay. He's talking about that which seems inauspicious actually being auspicious. Okay, in the last page, he talks about Parvati choosing Shiva and why she chose him when he's so inauspicious. Okay, so this is for those of you who are interested in the deeper philosophy, you can take a screenshot. Okay, Togiji, I have to jump into a session.
No worries, no worries.
I literally have to jump in. I'm late.
No problem, no problem. But this was good. And yeah, it was nice. A revelation of Adhik-masa, the mathematical concept, the spiritual concept, making the so-called useless as much more useful.
Yes.
And then growing. Basically, it's a spiritual awakening time, I feel. And then,
Yes.
right.
Yeah,
Great.
internal. Okay, Togiji, and all of you, thank you so much. And I'm 1 minute session.
Okay.
Okay,
See you.
bye.